Greetings and salutations, horror movie fans. My name is Gilbert Ybarra, and welcome back to the Attic Review. On today's episode of TAR, I want to talk about this out-of-this-world sci-fi horror, The Faculty. Another late 90s classic from Dimension Home Videos, this Robert Rodriguez-directed sci-fi thriller gives us the blueprint on how to handle aliens invading a small town. In traditional Attic Review fashion, I'm going to break the movie down into the 3 acts as I saw them play out, what I liked and disliked about each act, and how I felt about the movie overall. So without further ado, let's see why all the students in this small town are afraid of the faculty. Alrighty, the first 7 minutes of this film gives us a real good indication that the teaching staff of this freaky-ass town might not have the best of intentions for its students. Or each other. Let's just say there's some turmoil after a late-night staff meeting at the school, and the curriculum turns into a deadly agenda after some teach-on-teach crime. The next day, amidst the usual rambunctious little shits running around campus, we are introduced with cool name tag titles to our core of teens that begin to notice something unusual about their peers and their mentors. We have the brilliant bad boy Zeke, played by Josh Hartnett, the bullied outcast Casey, played by Elijah Wood, and we also have Stokely, Delilah, Stan, and the brand spanking new girl Mary Beth. Alright, let's move on with the story. After a quick look into the daily lives of the teachers and the students, we join Casey at the football field for some lunch, where he finds a creepy little tiny crawler that he wants to investigate a little bit more. But not before he is aggressively confronted by the T-1000, I mean the football coach, who gives off some weird vibes before he shoos him away. Casey shows the tiny creature to his biology teacher, who is baffled by the discovery, and becomes more intrigued when it begins to evolve like a motherfucker when dropped in a tank of water and it replicates itself. Apparently the biology teacher didn't get the memo that these little bastards were biters, as he gets a chunk of his finger torn off and class is ended on that frightening note. Meanwhile, Stan the jock just ended his football career and is showering away his guilt when he is joined by the older-than-dirt school nurse. And this is not every young man's fantasy, because she is falling apart and looks like the lady in the tub from The Shining. That is swept under the rug, and we fast forward to Casey and his dream girl Delilah, who are hiding in the staff break room after they broke in, but now they are witnesses to the last human teacher getting ganged up on to be turned into whatever they're getting turned into. The whole time the kids were right, and their suspicion that something is wrong is correct, because the school is getting taken over by aliens and they escape the break room and the school after the teachers discover them, and we end Act 1. Now, before we get to the likes and dislikes, do me a huge favor and click like and subscribe, respectively. Alright, thank you so much for that. Now let's get into the Act 1 highlights. Alrighty, Act 1 that was a lot to unpack in that first 34 minutes, and I am so impressed with the pace and how much ground that they covered in that amount of time. My apologies for only covering the major highlights, because that's a lot of story that was presented and so much character development going on that it leaves you breathless trying to cover all of it. All the characters I'm in love with, but especially Zeke. Josh Hartnett is fantastic as the drug-dealing anti-hero. Nice jump scares scattered throughout the film, and it also lays down some psychological terror because we don't know who our heroes can trust, so great job in building suspense for the second act. One more is the sheer star power of the late 90s. I cannot get over this killer cast, which includes my boy, U.S.H.E.R.R.A. Okay, I'm gonna save you that. It's R&B singer Usher Raymond in this motherfucker. Act 1 dislike just because I need something to complain about. Goddamn Josh Hartnett's hair! Yeah, it's weird, but I personally hate it because I have to brush my hair like every 30 minutes to look presentable. This cute motherfucker can just roll out of bed and look that damn cool. Oh, I hate it! I hope the aliens get his adorable ass in Act 2. Act 2 begins with Casey getting the 5-0 and his parents are back to the school to prove that something foul is afoot. But the alien staff is slick as snot, and they make Casey look like a foolish liar. Then later on, late at night, they pay him a visit to his house, which makes him look more unstable to his father, Shooter McGavin. Returning to school the next day, Casey and the others have noticed the whole campus seems to be off, and even some of their own behavior is questionable. Fueled by a theory from conspiracy theorists Stokely and Casey, they believe that a parasitic alien group is here to take over Earth by sneaking into the back door of their small town. And yes, this theory is confirmed after they escape a violent encounter with their infected biology teacher who was trying to make them down with the sickness. This leads us to, in my opinion, the coolest scene of the movie, as we've got the Breakfast Club on drugs with the most badass slow motion walk from the school to Zeke's car, all while all the parasites in human suits on campus are mean-mugging the shit out of them. Alien-infected Usher wants to take them to a place that's nice and quiet, where there ain't no one there to interrupt. But Zeke and the crew escape to his place for some clarity on this whole situation. Over at Zeke's place, it turns into the Thing type intervention where everybody's a suspect. So they play a little game of snort some drugs to draw out the alien, because the drugs that Zeke's got is the antidote, or should I say, killer to these aliens. The results of the drug taking are hilarious, but what's not hilarious is that Delilah turns out to be an alien and destroys most of Zeke's drugs, which is unfortunate because that's the only weapon that they have against these ET sumbitches. Delilah takes off with her new alien friends, and our survivors have a new theory that if you take out the main Queen Bee alien, then everything will go back to normal. So now they gotta go to the football game to save the town, and we end Act 2. Act 2, like Robert Rodriguez, this is probably your most underappreciated piece of genius, man. Thank you for this. Let's see here. The angles that he uses for the walk to the car scene, orchestrating the tweaking at Zeke scene, and his ability to blend the laughs with the scares at tense moments is just amazing. Another like is the sci-fi whodunit element by borrowing from the Thing playbook and creating an atmosphere of mistrust. Especially in this act after they learn that books like The Puppet Master and Invasion of the Body Snatchers are true and teach them not to trust one another. Act 2 dislike? I tried to find something, but I couldn't, so let's get on to Act 3 and the conclusion of The Faculty. Act 3 starts off with some Friday Night Lights. The whole town is enjoying some high school football and new membership to the UFO Club. Out of the club, though, is the principal, who we all presume to be the Queen Bee, but psych, she is killed twice. Once by the gun, and the other by Mary Beth, basically dumping the rest of Zeke's drugs all over her. They were way off in presuming that the principal was a leader, so alien invasion? Game on! Zeke thankfully gets his hands on some more tweak dust after an extravagant chase involving himself, Casey, a newly turned Stan, Delilah, and some staff. Honestly, it's a really cool sequence. Time for some final act revelations as sweet as pie Mary Beth reveals herself, figuratively and literally, to be the Space Lord Mother. Stokely gets a shot of Parasite, and we're down to the final dudes, Casey and Zeke, to save the Earth. It is a drag-em-out, extremely impressive fight in the school locker rooms and gym, but this alien don't be knowing that Elijah Wood is here to save Middle Earth and regular Earth, and he stays undefeated as he makes Mary Beth say yes to drugs and ends her time on our planet. After whooping that alien ass to take back Earth, 1 month later we see our happily ever after and we end the sci-fi roller coaster, which means now we get to talk about Act 3 and the movie as a whole. Act 3 like chases galore. I was exhausted by watching all the running around our survivors had to do. Woo! Excellent sequences of evading the invaders, once again masterfully crafted by Senor Rodriguez. Great revelation of the Quiet Girl as a foreign species from space, but also it was entertaining to watch with suspicion as to who was human and who wasn't. Also, wonderful job on the alien design. Act 3 dislike? Alright, this is not a knock on the movie in any way. This is just my pessimistic bitter ass, but I wish the ending was a little darker and not as upbeat. But hey, they can't all end in gloom and doom, so besides that, there's nothing for me to criticize. I love Act 3 in this movie. The Faculty as a whole takes me by surprise every time I watch it. I am so impressed with its humor, pace, and thrills, all while maintaining the appearance of a Breakfast Club meets the Thing type hybrid with undeniable charm. This sci-fi thriller is a treasure of the 90s, and Robert Rodriguez should get more recognition for it. Bottom line is, I love this Teens vs. Aliens film and heavily recommend it. And that's it for today's episode of Tar and my high praise for the faculty. Please check it out and let me know what you think of the movie. It has been an absolute pleasure. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Tell some friends. My name is Gilbert Ybarra, and thank you so much for watching the Attic Review. Smile, Tiger.